Hi, everybody. Grady Polson. Welcome to the America Agency. For the brand new agents that are going, I want to say it like Dom does. How do you say it?
Hey, John. Dominic here. I'm giving you a call because I see you recently filled out my form here on Facebook. It looks like you put down that you served in the Army here, and you put your date of birth as the 10/11/1989. I'm assuming that's correct? And that's how I established the data points rather than trying to make them remember if they did it or not. A lot of the times they're older, they don't remember something they did online. So getting out those data points establishes the trust off rip. And then you just kind of find the need. Thank them for their service and see what they were looking for. Were you looking to cover the burial or leave some money behind for the family? What'd you have in mind? And just kind of keep it a casual conversation. They don't want to feel like they're being sold, and they definitely don't want to feel like you're interrogating them or anything. So if you just treat them like people and try to connect with them, be friendly, matching their tone is huge as well. If someone answers the phone yelling, "Hey, John," I'll go right back at them. So you have to match the tone wherever they're at. That's a big part of it as well.
What do you do? How do you tell them who you are? Like, how do you set credibility for who you are?
Yeah, I'll say I'm the underwriter that's been assigned to your case here. Um, a little bit of good news and a little bit about myself is I don't just work for one company. I have access to all the companies you can get approved with in the state. So I established that I'm not just trying to sell them one product. We have access to all the best ones here, and I think that's important to your point as well of making sure that they're not going for price, because if you establish you do have the best companies available, which we do, which is pretty cool, it allows them to feel safer and not like they're doing the shopping around. We do that for them
Yeah.
as well.
How many states do you have?
Like 40.
40. Good.
40 states.
It gives you
Yeah.
options, man. It's another investment in your business, but now you're set up to sell nationwide, which is awesome. So,
Yeah.
okay, so you take control. Now, is there anything you do in the any domisms, any one-liners you're saying at certain parts where you're asking health or money, income, or occupation currently? Are what do you kind of give us the kind of the next 30, 60 seconds too, so people can kind of
Yeah.
that's always the hardest part, right? If you can get the client on the phone for 60, 90 seconds, they're not that busy doing something else they can't pay attention to, right? Oh, I'm busy right now. Or where are you? Okay, perfect. I'm busy too, right? We're all busy. But the reality is you fill out this form, it's on my desk. I got to get it processed or I'm going to get in trouble, right? And that's the kind of essence we're trying to carry across to these potential clients. How are you taking more control throughout that process and starting to kind of dig more information out?
Yeah. So right after that, I kind of just get right in. I establish the need, and then I kind of
Pain
just get into
points,
questions.
right? So is that pain point part?
Yes, pain point. Are you trying to cover the final expenses, leave some money behind for the family? I see here you put you're married. Are you trying to cover that for your wife? Oh, okay, the wife and the kids. Okay, perfect. So starting off here, what I kind of do is I figure out what you can qualify for based off your age and your health. So since I confirmed that date of birth already, starting off, are you a smoker at all? And then I go through those health questions. Um, and then this is where toolkit kind of comes in, where you can just plug it right in. You don't have to know all the stuff off the top of your head, although repetition allows you to kind of know which carrier will be best for them. But then I just have them write down three options. So I'll say, John, go ahead and grab a pen and paper for me. I have a few options here. I also want you to write down some of my information. My first name, Dominic, is spelled Don, and then my last name, Scalice, and my national producer number. This is kind of like my ID number for insurance. That's going to be 207, and I have them write that out. Now, I want you to write down three different options here. I want you to write down 20 as in 20,000. Right under that, write down 15 as in 15,000. And then lastly, 10 as in 10,000. Also, the company giving you the cheapest rate here is a company called Americo. They're one of our A-rated carriers for veterans. And starting off here, this is all going to be whole life coverage. So this is something that will never expire on you. Goes all the way up until age 120. So you can't outlive it even if you wanted to. And it's also level premiums, which is very important. So that means the prices I'm about to tell you here, they're not going to go up 5 years from now or any time in the future. They're going to stay the exact price for the rest of your life. Does that make sense? Okay, and then I just go through pricing. Um, so I make sure they write it down because what I'm really trying to figure out is what's going to be comfortable for them. I don't ever want to oversell somebody. I don't want to, if they tell me the 10,000 is comfortable, I don't want to be like, oh geez, well let's do the 20,000 then, because then that's not going to stay on the books. To your point of persistency, you want to make sure they could actually keep this comfortably. I'll ask if it's going to take any food off the table, maybe 3 or 4 times. Are you sure this is definitely going to be comfortable and affordable for you? And that's how we increase our persistency before even writing. Um, so that's a huge step in there. Uh, Going through the application as well, before I even get into an application, I will kind of tell them what it entails. So I'll say, John, now what we kind of do, have you gone through this before? Okay, so what we do is we go through a quick application. It takes 5 to 8 minutes. Now, what they're going to ask is four major things. They're going to ask for your basic demographics, who your beneficiary is going to be, your social to make sure everything lines up. And then later, they're going to ask for how you want to pay for this in the future. So starting off here, what's your best mailing address? And just kind of reiterating what is going to be asked makes it so then when you do get to that banking point, when you have to ask for their social, then it's not like it's out of left field. They heard it before, they knew it was going to happen. So it makes them more comfortable as well.
It's great, bro. That's time under pressure. How you figured all that out. That's awesome. So, back up 2 steps. Are you getting their income? Are you asking them, what are you doing for work? Are you asking them, you retired, working, disabled? And then do you just ask them their income, or do you not try to do any budgeting for them and you just give them a price and figure out what they're comfortable with?
So we figure out based off a need as well as if they're on Social Security, if they are on disability, we will ask how much percentage wise, because that determines how much money they're getting from the state. So that kind of helps determine it. I tend to stay a little bit away from budget because I feel like nowadays, if you ask someone their budget, especially someone that's older, they're going to say, I'm like not that much left over. So you kind of have to establish this is important rather than bringing money into it as much. Um, so if they need the burial covered, the alternative is their wife has to pay for it, their son has to pay for it. So if you establish that is important enough and you fill that need, it's a lot easier than trying to figure out what all their bills are as well.
Yeah, a lot of times the seniors majority of them they buy with their heart instead of their wallet, right? And so they're like, oh yeah, 250 a month sounds great, and they're like, you're only making $800 a month, and your rent is 450. So how are you going to afford food, right? And so it's being very cognizant of that, which is great that
Yeah.
you're asking them 4 times. Is this number comfortable? Are you sure that you can afford this? Is this going to take any food off the table? Asking it multiple different ways. So you're giving them an out. Actually, 89 a month might be tough. Oh, perfect. I'm glad you let me know now. We can do something more like 59 or 64, which would get you about 7,500 in coverage, should still cover cremation, and then you can kind of get back
Yeah.
into it while you're on their side. You're not just pushing them for this huge premium. And then always a good line is, listen, as either income increases or bills lessen and time as progresses, I'm a broker and we can put something else on top of the books in the future. Okay, that's
Yeah.
great. I love it, man.